In older suburbs across Perth, Australia, city planners are aggressively pushing a strategy called urban infill. They are taking traditional, spacious residential blocks and rezoning them to R60, encouraging property owners to increase housing density right in the heart of the city. The standard approach to this rezoning is completely subtractive. Developers buy these larger lots, clear out the existing green spaces, tear down the original homes, and level the site entirely to start from scratch. What replaces those original gardens is high-density concrete. The lots are paved wall-to-wall with brick and filled with tightly packed, flat-roofed units that leave almost zero room for nature. This creates the urban heat island effect. When you eliminate a neighborhood's tree canopy and pour concrete, those hard surfaces absorb solar radiation and radiate heat back into the air. Stripping out trees raises local temperatures by 6 to 10 degrees Celsius. We have a severe housing shortage, and adding density is a necessary response. But by relying purely on concrete and demolition to solve that crisis, we are building pockets of the city that lack the shade and biodiversity needed to keep neighborhoods cool and livable. 15 minutes from Perth's city center, a resident named Jody has developed a countermodel. On a standard 728 square meter block, less than a quarter acre, she runs a property called Wombalin. She is achieving the density the city wants, but without pouring a sea of concrete. Instead of clearing the lot, she preserved the green space. She built a tiny home for just $20,000 in the backyard, and between the main house, her tiny home, and traveling workers, she successfully houses up to 8 people on a single suburban lot. The mechanics of this property work because she abandoned traditional garden layouts. Most backyards are treated as two-dimensional, flat spaces, meant only to look pretty. Jody relies on three-dimensional permaculture systems thinking, where every plant, structure, and person serves multiple overlapping functions. Jody has designed a model for high-density living that prioritizes thermal efficiency and community collaboration. It's a system that allows her to beat the summer heat and gain control over her own schedule and living costs. The first major challenge on the property was controlling the climate. Jody cultivated a dense, overarching plant canopy across the entire lot that acts as her primary cooling system. While the paved development next door bakes in the sun, her entire property stays heavily shaded and noticeably cool. That localized cooling is vital for survival. The local government only allows residents to water their gardens for 20 minutes twice a week. Because Jody's canopy drops the ambient temperature and blocks direct sunlight, the moisture stays locked in the soil for days. When it was time to build her tiny house, she tapped her environmental footprint to an absolute minimum. Instead of pouring a massive new foundation, she tore down an old tin shed and built the tiny house exactly over its existing concrete slab. She had to navigate tight spaces along the back fence, making traditional cladding impossible to install. Her solution was a cordwood wall, a construction method using waste timber sourced from the property, discarded glass jars, and lime mortar. This wall is highly functional. Built with a cavity in the center, the space acts as a thermal trap. When the brutal Perth summer heat hits the exterior, it hits that internal gap and stops dead, preventing the interior of the house from cooking. The lime mortar adds a brilliant secondary defense. If the structure settles and a crack forms, the lime chemically reacts with the air to rebond. It is entirely self-healing. By combining a thick biological canopy with smart, passive thermal architecture, Jody maintains complete comfort without needing expensive, energy-hungry mechanical air conditioning. To keep construction costs at a minimum, Jody leans heavily on the Womble philosophy. Named after a 1970s TV show, it's the practice of scavenging other people's waste and turning it into high-value raw material. Because her neighborhood is zoned R60, the lot might eventually face bulldozers decades from now. To avoid overcapitalizing, she sources materials for free. She collected massive amounts of local coastal limestone and hauled in an abandoned gazebo that a neighbor was throwing away to serve as her outdoor shelter. This scavenging applies to the biological systems too. When nearby lots were scheduled for demolition, Jody monitored local online classifieds for free plants, rescuing and replanting them. Even Wombalin's primary orange tree was saved from a bulldozer. Maintaining all this density takes effort. To solve the labor equation, Jody integrated the HelpX system. Traveling workers provide manual garden labor for a few hours a week in exchange for free accommodation in a repurposed caravan tucked under a pergola. Treat the city's waste as your local hardware store and offer travelers a place to sleep, and you can completely bypass traditional, highly expensive construction supply chains. The financial engine driving Wombelin is a model of compound living. When Jody moved into her $20,000 tiny house, she freed up the 3-bedroom main house. Renting out those rooms generates enough income to effectively neutralize the central mortgage. Everyone on the property, the tenants, the traveling workers, and Jody, shares access to a central scullery and kitchen. They use these spaces to bake sourdough, make homemade soap, and preserve the olive harvest, turning a standard rental arrangement into a collaborative community effort. With the share house paying the mortgage and the garden yielding daily food, Jody eliminated her primary financial pressures. This allowed her to permanently quit a high-stress, full-time corporate strategy career. Her daily reality looks completely different now. She wakes up and goes straight into the garden to tend the chickens and water the greens. To cover her remaining basic expenses, she works a low-stress part-time job, chatting with customers at a local hardware store. Financial freedom does not require securing a massive corporate salary. You can achieve it by carefully engineering a high-yield living situation that requires drastically less capital to survive. Right now, millions of urban lots around the world are slated to be leveled and paved over. We are systematically stripping greenery from our cities in a desperate bid to create more housing. Wombelin proves that this is a false choice. On a standard city block, Jody successfully houses up to 8 people while simultaneously cultivating a productive food forest. High urban density and ecological abundance can actually coexist. Finding relief from soaring housing costs and extreme summer temperatures does not require waiting for slow-moving macro-level government policy changes. The tools to build resilience already exist. By applying 3-dimensional systems thinking, you can look at the resources already surrounding you, the available sunlight, the captured rainwater, and your neighbor's discarded materials, and begin redesigning your immediate urban surroundings. This permaculture oasis serves as a highly reproducible blueprint. It demonstrates exactly how we can reclaim our time, lower our bills, and rebuild our communities, right in the heart of the modern city.